Colleen handed them each a few outfits. Only 3 items in the dressing room at a time, she reminded. Only 2 broken arms at a time, sis, but 2 more are waiting. Vicky shot back with a grin. Colleen rolled her eyes and gave them the rest. The hooks were soon overloaded with clothes. Ellen stood nervously, unsure of what to do, but Vicky was already stepping out of her dress. I need help, Ellen said. I've got a corset on and can't reach the zipper. Those things are a challenge, Vicky said, helping him unzip. The dress slid to the floor and he carefully stepped out of it, following her lead. She then removed her slip, standing confidently in her undergarments, elegant green satin. Ellen paused, clearly awed. She caught him staring and playfully said, "Your turn. Show me what you've got, girl." He removed his slip, revealing his corset and matching pale yellow pieces. He shifted uncomfortably, noticing how his undergarments didn't hide much. "Colleen," Vicky called. "Yeah," came the reply from outside. Vicky stepped out briefly, still in her underthings. "I need one of the nude tone gaffs, number 8 skin tone, please." When Colleen returned, she passed it over. "Let's switch you into something that blends better," Vicky said. Ellen hesitated. I was waiting until your sister left again," he muttered. Vicky just smirked. "Don't be shy. We've been prepping for this makeover moment for a while now." With a little encouragement and a lot of blush, Ellen changed. The new gaff fit perfectly and helped smooth his silhouette. Vicky adjusted it slightly. "There," she said. "Now it looks natural." Like this, she pointed to the mirror. "See how it shapes into a gentle curve?" Ellen stared. It was a surreal moment. He looked like the girls in the fashion magazines. He didn't look like himself, and yet, maybe he did. Instead of reaching for his old clothes, Vicky handed him a swimsuit. "Try this on first." He slipped into the bottoms and stared again. The illusion was almost perfect. Then Vicky helped him with the top, adjusting it until it sat just right. She changed too, putting on a matching suit. Ellen caught sight of her reflection and turned quickly, but Vicky only smiled. "You're really pretty, sweetie," she said, pulling him into a hug. "So are you," he said, then kissed her, his first time initiating one. They tried the sundresses on over their swimsuits. Vicky's worked perfectly as a cover-up. Ellen twirled in the halter dress Vicky picked for him. Both went in the to-buy pile, along with 4 more outfits they tried afterward. Vicky helped him into a sleek white sheath dress and a long black skirt. He picked a green jumper for her that brought out her eyes. Once they were both back in their original outfits, they carried their chosen clothes out. Ellen bent to grab the rest, but Vicky stopped him. "Colleen's got it," she said with a smile. At the counter, Colleen rang them up. "Nice picks," she said. "We'll also take 2 size 8 St. Cathy skirts, 4 36B support bras, 4 white size 36 blouses, and 5 nylon briefs, size 5, Vicky added. Ellen paid for Vicky's outfits and the school clothes, while Vicky used her employee discount for Ellen's picks. Arms full of shopping bags, they stepped out into the parking lot. "You really got into that once you relaxed," Vicky teased. "Once you stripped down, you mean," Ellen said with a grin. She laughed. "Well, since you've been such a good little girl today, I'm taking you to my special place before we hit the mall." After a short drive, they pulled into a small parking lot beside a bar. Ellen read the sign. "My special place." "I can't go in there. I'm not 21, he said. "I'm not either, silly. But Mike, the bartender, thinks I am," she winked. She took his hand and led him toward the entrance. Ellen couldn't help but notice the flamboyant billboards with pictures of drag queens and glittery showtimes. "What is this place?" he asked. "It's a gay bar," Vicky replied casually. "But don't worry, I come here because the guys don't pay much attention to me. I'm invisible here. And sometimes, that's perfect." She let go of his hand to open the door. Inside, it was dimly lit, with spotlights illuminating glamorous framed photos on the walls. The bartender gave Ellen a curious look, until Vicky stepped confidently forward. "Hi, Mikey." Vicky called out as she twirled in her new outfit, the skirt fanning dramatically with her spin. She grabbed Ellen's hand and led him up to the bar. "What do you like to drink?" she whispered. I'm not sure," he whispered back. He'd only ever had communion wine at church. "I'll take a Glenlivet with soda," she said confidently. "And a glass of Chardonnay for my friend." The bartender, Mike, gave Ellen a curious glance. "Is she 21? "Of course," Vicky said, flashing a mischievous smile. "Would I lie to you?" Mike sighed, shaking his head. "You'd get me in more trouble than Lucifer himself, Vicky." He chuckled as he prepared the drinks. Ellen took in the room now that his eyes had adjusted to the dim interior. It was striking rich purple and gold decor, thick velvet carpet, a grand stage at the far end, and rows of empty tables stretching through the quiet Sunday afternoon air. "You should see this place on a Saturday night," Vicky said, leading him to a quieter corner. "Why?" "Because it's a full-on drag review. The customers are as wild as the performers," she grinned. "It's like stepping into another world." Ellen blinked. "The men wear dresses?" "Some do." "And the waitstaff?" "Let's just say the uniforms are more decorative than functional," she said with a wink. They set down their drinks at a table far from the few other patrons. Ellen still looked a little lost in thought. "You've never really been out like this, have you?" Vicky asked gently. "Not really. I've only gone to a few school dances." "Well, I didn't bring you here for the drinks," Vicky said. "This is a place where no one judges us, no one eavesdrops. We can talk and be whoever we want to be." Ellen took a cautious sip of the wine. The warmth hit quickly. "Sip, don't gulp," she laughed. "Oh, yeah. So, let's play a game," Vicky said, leaning forward. "A game? It's simple. We pretend we're someone else and gossip about a pretty couple across the room." Ellen gave her a puzzled look. "It helps us speak freely," Vicky explained. Ellen and Vicky are sitting at another table. "We're just Beth and Alice having girl talk." "All right, so I'm Beth?" "Yes, and I'll be Alice." "So, Beth, tell me about that odd duck Alan." "You think I'm odd?" "Not you, Beth Allen. He's way over there, remember?" Vicky smiled. "Let's try again. What's your take on Vicky's sister, Colleen?" Ellen hesitated, then slipped into the game. "She's all right, I guess, but she has a bit of a mean streak." "Tell me more, Beth." "Well, I saw her in the store once when Alan's mom was trying to make him wear girls' clothes. Colleen didn't exactly make it easy on him. It was like she wanted everyone to know." "And what was Alan doing?" "Crying. Like, really crying." "Why do you think Colleen would do that?" Ellen paused. "Maybe because Alan was mean to her and her sister. Maybe she thought he deserved it." "And what about Alan himself?" Vicky asked, staying in character. "I think he's lonely," Ellen said, her voice softer now. "He acts out. Tries to get attention, even if it's the wrong kind." "Does he have friends?" "Only a couple. And only when his mom throws him out of the house for a while." "So he spends his time, how?" "Mostly online. Games. Random stuff. Anything to tune out, I guess." Vicky looked across the table at Ellen with understanding in her eyes. "So why do you think his mom put him in dresses, Beth?" "I think it was mostly about revenge," Beth said thoughtfully, still caught in their role play, but also because Alan's Aunt Lily always seemed to dislike men. "I overheard her telling my mom that Alan would be better off learning how to be a lady, that he'd never make a decent man." Alice raised an eyebrow. "That's intense. What else did she say?" "She said Alan's features were delicate, that he was already more feminine than masculine, and that some neighbors even wished she could reprogram his attitude." Alice leaned closer, voice soft. "You know, Beth, I've seen Alan and I've seen Ellen. And I'll be honest, Ellen is beautiful. Her mannerisms, her smile, they just fit." "Yeah," Beth replied. "With the makeup and the right outfit, even I was surprised how convincing and, honestly, how natural she looked." "So you think she's pretty?" "Absolutely. Everyone says it. Even her mom beams when people compliment Ellen." "And how has that changed her, do you think?" "Well, It's hard to stay angry when people treat you kindly, Beth said. At first, Alan hated all of this. He even wanted to run away. But something changed after his mom stepped in and stopped the teasing. I think that's when Ellen really started to emerge. Alice noticed something else. You keep switching between he and she. Why is that, Beth? Because that's what's been happening. Before, whenever someone called her she, it would make her upset. But the first time Vicky called her that, it didn't. It felt real. Like it clicked. I think I understand. Alice smiled. Want another glass of wine? Yes, please. Ellen watched as Vicky made her way to the bar, carrying the empty glasses. A few heads turned, watching her walk with grace and confidence. Ellen caught herself thinking, back off, she's mine. That thought stunned her. I just called myself her girlfriend, Ellen realized. I'll have to ask her about that. When Vicky returned with their drinks, Ellen stood up and kissed her softly. Vicky smiled and wrapped her arms around Ellen's waist, returning the kiss. I think I love you, Ellen said when they sat down again. I know you do. You have for a while, Vicky said. No, I mean Ellen loves you. Not Alan. Vicky tilted her head, curious. Tell me more. Ellen took a breath. I don't talk about my feelings much, but when you were at the bar and those people were watching you, I thought, I'm her girlfriend. Not boyfriend, girlfriend. That just felt right. It makes perfect sense, Vicky said, gently. You are my girlfriend. Do you think I could stay this way? I think it's something that could happen, Vicky answered. If that's really what you want. I'm not completely sure, Ellen admitted. A week ago I'd be furious if someone called me a sissy. Yesterday it still hurt when Tracy teased me. But today, when someone said I looked like the prettiest girl at church, I felt proud. That's the difference, Vicky explained. Some people say things to hurt. Others say them to lift you up. When we tell you you're beautiful, it's real. Ellen nodded. Even the boys who used to make fun of me didn't recognize me today. They looked at me just like they did the other girls. And you're acting more naturally today. It's not just clothes or makeup, it's you. You're becoming Ellen, not pretending to be her. Vicky stood and offered her hand. Now drink up, girl, or the mall's going to close before we even get there. As they made their way out of the bar, Mike the bartender waved them over with a grin. Always good to see you, Ellen. You brighten up the place, he said warmly. Most of the folks here are regulars, but I'm not complaining when someone like you walks in. Vicky feigned a protective pout. You trying to flirt with my girl? Mike laughed. The best ones are always taken, huh? I think you'll be seeing more of me, Ellen said, smiling. It was really nice meeting you. They slipped into the car and started toward the mall, the city lights making Ellen's features glow softly. For a while, neither of them spoke. Then Vicky broke the silence. You really don't like your Aunt Lily, do you? Not really. She's never been kind to me, especially when I was younger, Ellen admitted. Want to hear something that might change how you see her? Vicky asked. I was actually one of her students for a while. 3 years and 4 summers at St. Catherine's. After 7th grade, I even worked as her assistant during summer sessions. Seriously? Ellen turned to her, surprised. Yeah, she's tough, but she's not cruel. She has this gift. She could always tell which of the kids at camp were trying to find their identity and which ones were just lost in the middle. She really helped me. Ellen tilted her head. How so? When I was younger, I struggled a lot in school. I had dyslexia, words would dance around, and reading was almost impossible. My parents scraped together the money for a summer program at St. Catherine's, hoping it would help. Was it worth it? More than worth it, Vicky said. The first day, Miss Lily pulled me into her office. I thought I was in trouble, but she told me exactly what was going on, and she offered a solution. The school paid for a university tutor, 2 hours a day, for 4 weeks. She walked me home that night to explain it all to my parents. Wow, Ellen said. If I hadn't gone to that program, I probably wouldn't have made it through school. But instead, I ended up with scholarships, good grades, and confidence. She saw potential in me when no one else did. That's not what I expected at all, Ellen admitted. I guess I only saw one side of her. She's strict, but fair. And she doesn't give up on people. Sometimes what seems like pressure is actually belief. They reached the mall, and Vicky found a spot near the entrance to the theater. Inside, the mall buzzed with weekend energy, laughter, chatter, and music echoing off the walls. They drew more than a few glances as they walked through. Ellen was getting used to it. A few guys hanging near the food court called out with whistles and comments. Ellen turned to look, but Vicky stopped her with a whisper. Don't even glance at them. That's all the invitation they need. Ellen smiled. The way Vicky's freckles darkened when she got annoyed made her seem even more beautiful. Vicky led her to the front of a jewelry store, peeking through the glass at the shimmering displays. After a moment, she turned to Ellen. Would you do something special for me, sweetheart? Like what? Ellen asked. Get your ears pierced, Vicky said, smiling. It'd totally complete your look, and it would mean a lot to me. Ellen hesitated. I don't know. Doesn't it hurt? And the holes are permanent. Pretty please? Vicky gave her best puppy dog eyes. I'll hold your hand the whole time, and I even picked out the perfect earrings for you. Ellen laughed. Okay, but just for you. My mom is going to freak. I bet she'll love it when she sees how confident you look. Vicky winked and kissed Ellen on the cheek. They walked into the jewelry store and approached the counter. A clerk came over with a friendly smile. We'd like to get a piercing done, and we want 2 sets of those small heart earrings, Vicky said, pointing. Let me check if we can still do piercings tonight, the clerk replied, heading to the back. A few minutes later, they were led into a small room. Hi there, said the manager. Who's the brave one tonight? Vicky grinned. This lovely lady right here. No worries, the manager said to Ellen. We'll use a numbing cream. You'll barely feel a thing. If you do, you get to pick the music for the rest of the night deal. Ellen giggled and nodded. The manager applied a bit of numbing cream and let it sit while chatting casually to ease her nerves. A few minutes later, he marked her ears, lined up the piercing tool, and click, done. Ellen blinked. That was it. All done. The manager smiled, inserting the heart-shaped earrings. You rocked it. How does it look? Ellen asked, turning toward the mirror. Like it was always meant to be there, Vicky said, paying for both sets and the piercing. As they turned to leave, the manager asked, Hey, we're closing up soon, but some of us are heading to the lounge next door. You two are welcome to join us if you like. That's really sweet, but we've already got movie tickets, Vicky replied smoothly. Worth a try, he said with a chuckle. Back in the mall, Ellen caught her reflection again and smiled. So, that's what it's like to get hit on? Flattering, huh? Vicky said, giving her hand a squeeze. Yeah, but I'm not sure I'll ever be ready to date a guy, Ellen said softly. Never say never, Vicky replied with a playful shrug. They found their seats in the movie theater just as the preview started. Vicky wrapped her arm around Ellen's waist, and Ellen rested her head on Vicky's shoulder. A few people behind them whispered, but the 2 girls paid no mind. They were lost in their own moment. After the movie, Vicky glanced at the time. It's only 7:30. We're passing by that lounge anyway. Want to stop in for a quick drink? Ellen smiled. Only if I get one of those fancy glasses of wine. The lounge was buzzing with life when they arrived. Mike waved them over as they entered. The crowd was more vibrant tonight, full of color, glitter, and high spirits. A statuesque server came over, tall, elegant, dressed in a theatrical maid outfit with heels that could rival any runway models. Welcome back, ladies, she said with a wink. What can I get you tonight? Irish whiskey and water for me, Vicky said. And a Harvey Wallbanger? Ellen said, unsure. Vicky raised an eyebrow. You sure? That's got a kick. It's the only one I've heard of, Ellen admitted. Okay, but just one. I like you upright, not passed out on a velvet couch, Vicky teased. Ellen looked around the room, Men dancing with men, women chatting with women, a mix of people in drag, glittery fashion, and fabulous energy. This place is different at night, Ellen whispered. It's a safe space, Vicky explained. A lot of the people here are just being their full selves. That server? He's a financial advisor by day. Weekends are his time to let go. Ellen looked around again, this time with softer eyes. I think I'm starting to get it. Stick around, Vicky said. The show's about to start.